back. You're still watching The Breakfast Meeting right here on NBS, your political command center. My name is Mebo Chegumiezake once again. And of course, we want to get into another interesting conversation that is going to benefit all of you that own vehicles in this country. And even if you don't own a vehicle, this conversation concerns to a friend who owns a vehicle, a family member, relative, or anybody you know who owns a vehicle. Any type of car, including even the motorcycles, of course, and it concerns the motor third-party insurance. There's been a lot of debate and challenges that surround the motor third-party insurance, where a lot of fraud has been talked about, and of course a lot of the word duping, and people so angry at insurance companies, especially when they go to make claims. Now there's something big that the Insurance Regulatory Authority has come up with in partnership with the Uganda Revenue Authority, and they've called it the Mobile Motor Third Party Insurance Platform. And of course, there's a gentleman here who has told me he's a Liverpool fan, but that is another conversation altogether. So long as he's not crying, you have good news for us. He's the Director at Supervision Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda, and that is Obel Bennett. Welcome to the breakfast meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, we want to understand what mobile motor third-party insurance is about.
Oh, thank you, Mabel. Mobile motor third-party insurance is about, in simple terms, payment of insurance premium through mobile phones, in simple terms.
Okay.
But I just want to take you through where we came from. As you know, you may be already aware, we set up an anti-insurance fraud unit at IRA. And we have been having so many claims coming in requiring investigations. So in the process of investigating, we have discovered that there is a black market outside there. I don't want to mention the specific places because investigations are still going on.
Sure.
Where upon accidents take place, and then maybe people die in accidents, but when they produce the sticker or the car reference number, when we investigate, we find that the stickers are not genuine at all.
You can't trust the monies.
You can't trust the monies. A fake sticker was issued to the public, and people are vulnerable.
Sure.
Now, we thought about a way of getting around it, because if you are to investigate, it will take time and also the cost of investigation. So we said, let us introduce a way in which we can ensure that we only issue genuine stickers to the public through mobile payment platform. Now, that platform is going to enable the public to pay premium directly through their mobile phones. And we already have access to the URA database. Now, that access, of course, we shall only have access to genuine cars, which are outside there. And payment, of course, will be made through the mobile phones. And once payment has been made, a sticker will be given to that individual. Now, once you get that sticker on your phone, then you can go to any insurance agency of your choice, present it, and you are given a sticker.
Okay.
So you'll be paying the correct amount, and there's no need for going around to the black market, because what entices some people to go to the black market is because of cost.
Sure.
They'll tell you it goes at 20,000, yet officially you're supposed to pay 79,000 shillings. So basically that's how we came up with that issue of mobile payment platform.
All right.
Yes.
So maybe that's where Paul Kavumai should come in. Paul Kavumai is the Chief Executive Officer of Uganda Insurance Association. Bernard was talking about the black market and the fraud. And personally, I've actually been a victim of a fake sticker, and the face of what the insurer shows you when you actually present that and they tell you it's a fake sticker. It's just unfortunate. How big is this problem actually, and has the sensitization been done enough on mobile motor third-party insurance for Ugandans so that it sinks in?
Okay, thank you very much, Mabel, and good morning, viewers. Thank you again for giving us this opportunity to talk about a very pertinent matter to the insurance sector, which is the motor third party. Apparently, motor insurance alone constitutes the biggest part of our production as a sector, so we hold it dear. And at the Uganda Insurance Association, we are mandated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority to manage motor third-party sticker issuance. So, as you are the command center for, Uganda Insurance Association is the command center for motor third-party stickers. So the distribution in effect requires that members subscribe to us and they purchase stickers so that they distribute the stickers to the public.
Okay.
The unfortunate bit is, like my colleague Bernard has mentioned, is that the unsuspecting public has been duped severally. I'll give a hypothetical situation. Let's imagine we have 1,000,001 vehicles, motorized units on the roads, because when we say motorized, it also includes borders. At the Uganda Insurance Association, our statistics show that on an annual basis we sell close to about only 600,000. So that means we sell 600 genuine stickers. But you will find more than 600 cars on the roads. And yet you're mandated by law to have a motor third party sticker on your car. And you see, to appreciate motor third party and where we're coming from, the genesis of what my colleague Bernard has mentioned, is we have to drive the benefit of motor third party for the public to appreciate what it is. It's unfortunate you've been duped. But let's take an example. If you had gotten involved in an accident, I mean, these are hard times. You feel empathy for the victim that you have, knocked, and you're required to meet their medical expenses. So this is when the motor third party comes in to mitigate that position for you. So when you have a fake motor third party sticker, it is a situation of where you actually pay genuinely for one, but you're given a duped one. So
True.
ideally you have no cover.
Yeah.
We can make reference to statistics in Uganda Police. Uganda Police is a huge stakeholder in this matter, and we also want to support and make their work a lot easier for them. In that, if you purchase the motor third party sticker through the MTP payment platform, at least then, like my colleague said, you are linked onto the URA database, and then you get to purchase a genuine third party from any of our outlets as the members of Uganda Insurance Association.
Okay.
So ideally then we are trying as much as possible, to curtail the fakes, and also make sure that if you have bought a sticker, you're going to enjoy the benefits that accrue to the motor third party insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Obel, let's talk about the insurance agents that have actually been doing this job. Are you planning to roll this out so that it's compulsory and do away with the insurance agents that have been doing this job? Or you mentioned something about picking the sticker from the insurance agent after you've done the transactions on mobile money. Is that all that they're going to do?
Yeah, what's going to happen is that the insurance agents will continue operating.
Okay.
What we are changing here is the mode of payment. We want to make it very, very convenient for the public to pay their money and to be secure that they are paying to the right institution or company or insurance company. So once you have got that sticker number, then you are free to move to any agent and ask for a sticker, whether it is statewide, whether it's Excel, whether it is UAP, so long as they are licensed insurance, they are dealing on behalf of licensed insurance companies. You present your sticker number, maybe 005, then they give you a sticker and you put it on your car. That's it. But the systems that we have in place will continue running the way they are.
Okay.
Yes.
Will the systems as concerning mobile money also looked into the security checks? Because there are also mobile people that operate exactly dupes on mobile money. Somebody can actually generate a message and send it to somebody, and at the end of the day you still think you've actually paid when you haven't.
Yeah, this system is actually linked to the international security codes.
Okay.
It complies with the requirements of the international security codes. And by virtue of the fact that it's linked to UTL and the several UTL and MTN and Airtel, and then also Communication Commission, we have that comfort that due diligence has already been taken care of, and there are control procedures which have been put in place to ensure that those risks do not come about. Now, as we move, we cannot completely eliminate the fact that those risks can come up. But there is a control level whereby the payments are verified. You just don't send a message and that's the final. These payments have to be verified, whether they are accurate or not, they are correct or they are not correct. And it's at that point that's where we shall eliminate those fake messages which are sent by people that you've received this amount of money, you've already paid for the sticker fee or that kind of. So by and large, we are taking care of the control risks around the mobile payment platform. But of course, as you know, some of these people are always thinking ahead of us, but we're also thinking ahead of them. So
we would want to believe, because
Yes.
if right now we're talking about mobile motor third-party insurance, Mr. Kavuma, isn't this probably painting for us a picture on the future of where insurance actually should be going, irrespective of the economic challenges that do exist?
Yeah, certainly. It's. I can say this is a start to a very good innovation drive. Actually, the motor third-party payment platform has created the rails for us to construct a digitalized motor third-party sticker. Very soon, probably by close of this year, you will have demos to show we're going E. We'll be using an e-sticker. You don't necessarily have to have an Android phone or smartphone, but even an ordinary phone will be able to display an e-sticker using a USSD code. So certainly, yes, innovation is beckoning on us to do so. And I would say we subscribe to all these insurance forums, Asia Insurance, McKinsey Reports, etc. Swiss Re did a survey. Swiss Re is one of the biggest reinsurance supporters in the world. And they did a survey, at the beginning of the pandemic going forward, the situation we're having right now. And 63% of the respondents actually want digitalized products now. Yeah, be it Africa, Africa is considered as an emerging market in insurance terms, Asia, etc. So we are moving towards that. And the underliers within the product will also help improve a lot on the claims processing. Because to be honest with you, insurance companies, from a business angle, I will represent the insurers and speak for them. It is something that we hardly do. So we never actually blow our trumpet, as it were, but we try and put the statistics in the papers for people to see. We pay claims, and we are heavily regulated. I can assure you that even the regulator, my colleague here, will let you know that even before you're licensed, they will look at your claims record, outstanding claims, etc. All those things will be reviewed. And if we are going E, like we are now, certainly we'll have a layer of claims processing. A motor third-party claim is one of the most straightforward claims. If we have the sticker right, it's genuine, and the police has actually confirmed, the entitlement to a death is $1 million shillings. The entitlement to extensive disability is $1 million shillings. The entitlement to medical reimbursement, then we can negotiate. You present your medical bills and then we reimburse. So it is going to streamline, innovate, and also improve a lot on the claims efficiency. So whereas we don't make that much noise, and usually we are dubbed as insurers who don't pay claims, you will probably see a huge improvement in this. And it will be a testimony to show that we've actually been doing this, but in a different way.
There's a damaged reputation?
Yeah, sort of thing. I wouldn't say so, but what I can vouch for is that we try our best to pay claims that are genuine.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
So as the insurers and the regulators, so right now, what do you expect from the public? What should they be doing right now?
In terms of
what is required to actually start transacting?
now, what you need to do, you need to have a mobile phone.
Okay.
Now, if you press, for instance, if you want to use MTN, you press 165, 165, star 165, then star, then 4, then star, then 5. Star, then 5, hash. And it's going to ask you for the registration number plate. Then you put there your registration number plate, and the amount that you're supposed to pay will come out automatically. Now, once the amount has come out automatically, then you pay from your mobile money account. If it is 80,000, then you pay the 80,000. Put in your PIN, and then you wait for feedback from the system, and you'll get your reference number. Now, once you get your reference number, then you move over to the nearest agent around whom you want to. You select the
Any
insurance company.
agent, it doesn't.
Any agent,
It
but
doesn't necessarily need to be a particular insurance which you're subscribed to.
Yeah, if it's a particular, if you prescribe to Statewide or Britam or UAP, the choice is yours. You can look for them wherever they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you present your sticker, and then you present the sticker number. They give you the motor third party sticker.
Simple as that.
As simple as that.
Wow.
Yeah, but this one is only for vehicles which have been validated. If your vehicle is not yet in the database, if you have not yet got the logbooks validated, then you are out of the system.
Okay.
You need to be in that system.
In that system.
Yeah, to be recognized.
Okay, so Mr. Obel, what you're saying right now is if my vehicle is not in the system,
Yes.
at this moment, can I be able to get insurance from the insurance agent?
Yes.
Insurance agent,
Yes.
if it's not in the system. But with time, what happens? Because I asked earlier, is this going to be rolled out compulsory where you can't buy from the insurance agent anymore and you need to use the mobile money platform?
Yeah, we are discouraging this totally, and we want all vehicles to be validated so that you can have access to the mobile payment platform. We can no longer continue with the old approach where we had so many challenges
Sure.
and fake stickers being issued. We have talked about all those disadvantages of that. So going forward, we expect vehicles to be validated, and then they can have access to the data. We can have access to the database, and we issue with the motor third-party sticker.
Okay.
I think that's the way forward.
All right.
Yeah.
So maybe, Paul, you'll take us through how to get access through Airtel. Well, Mr. Obel was talking about MTN, the *165 hash. So how about Airtel? Yeah.
Airtel is more or less the same.
It's more or less the same.
USSD code, it's a *185 *7 *6 *1 hash. And in addition to what my colleague has said, yeah, it will prompt you, like, you do the ordinary purchases. The beauty about the system is that now we have preset the premiums. So now you're going to pay your premium in accordance to the scale that is required by the regulator in accordance with your risk. So the premium is already reset. We're cutting out agencies that were undercutting,
Yeah, because I needed to ask about the standard cost, to be specific, like you're talking about. Did you know that if it's even viable, that there was bargaining for insurance?
which is
Or
unfortunate.
it is related to
Which is
black market.
unfortunate.
Explain,
Which is
like,
unfortunate.
insurer tells you, the agent tells you your premium is supposed to be 80,000, and you say, oh, but that is a lot. You start bargaining, and at the end of the day, you pay 65,000. Is that even real?
That is what has actually propagated and nurtured these sort of frauds.
Okay.
You will find an agent with two sets of stickers, the genuine ones and the fake ones. So once you come and you're vulnerable and you probably don't know your rights, because ideally you're supposed to pay for your insurance and enjoy your benefits, because risk is risk. It's imminent. It has to happen. It will happen. So if by any chance you buy the fake, then you probably don't know your rights. And that is another campaign that has been running on. We are trying to educate the public about their rights. And more so now, we are trying to look at the preventative sort of approach to insurance. We used to train what motor third party is and what it should do. But now we've had a paradigm shift and went to the public transport entities, the bus owners, the taxis, the borders, to tell them that, this is how we can actually avert risk. Insurance is only a safety net that is going to help you in the event that an accident happens.
Okay.
So like we said, yes, for as long as you do the USSD code, it generates a proper premium for you, then you get your sticker, and then you are good to go. And you have your genuine insurance that in the event of an accident, you are certain and sure it will respond to your needs.
Yeah, and for emphasis, will the claiming be as easy as the mobile money payment?
Apparently, to be honest with you, we've had the challenge of verifying a sticker. I will tell you the statistics that we're looking at. In a year, in 2019, the police report shows we had 12,850 accidents.
Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah.
We should have zero tolerance. Actually, it should be very marginal. I don't know what the UN standard is, but I'll check it out. Kampala alone has close to about 50% of this. And Kampala is arguably what is considered the elite, the elite that will consume the insurance. Now, if Kampala has in only a month, they have 5,000 accidents, which constitutes like close to about 50% of the aggregate amount per year. Then we need to make sure that we are looking after these people. The problem with such volumes is the police has to verify the genuineness of the sticker. We have spoken to the police, and the police have been very helpful. We've engaged, and to a point we've been guided by the regulator as well, that you do not have to wait for the final police report investigations. We know investigations can be long tail ended. So for as long as you have a bona fide motor third party claim, you know you knocked somebody, you injured that person, unfortunately died, and you have a police reference number. Submit that documentation to your insurance company, and we can assure you it should be in about 5 days of settlement.
Okay.
So it is again a question of the public appreciating what the insurers are doing. And we do it on a daily, but it may not be appreciated and may not come out. And the problem is that we're also trying to reverse the culture that motor third party is a tax. Before your road license was renewed, you are mandated to have a motor third party sticker. So it was always a prerequisite for your, but now we're actually seeing the benefit. So the public is seeing the benefit, and with this system, it's even going to enhance efficiency for claim settlement.
All right. How about bank customers? Is there an option for them who usually go to the bank or make payments in that regard?
We are rolling over this product, and we are the next phase is to go to the banks as well, and also to go to these banking agents as well to roll it over. But there's always a beginning. So this is the beginning, and we are going to spread to cover all those payment systems within due course. I think within a period of 6 months or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what would be your final remark as a regulator? Of course, even in regards to what Paul Kavuma mentioned, the law, the Motor Third Party Act. What would be your final remark to everyone that is watching right now?
I think the future is very bright for the insurance sector. The only challenge that we have is the COVID, which has affected people's effective demand of insurance. But this is a general problem. It's not the insurance industry challenge, it is a global issue. And of course, with the standard operating procedures and the technology that we are adopting now, we are beginning to steer clear of this COVID challenge. So, motor third party per se, of course, you might already be aware that we are overhauling the Motor Third Party Act. We used to pay only 1 million in case somebody dies. Now we are changing that to 10 million shillings per person, because 1 million used to be a lot of money so many years ago, 20 years ago, but now it's peanuts. So the process is, we are about to finalize it, and very, very soon we shall have a new Motor Third Party Act. Yes. And there are also other silent features which are very good for the sector to help people to get settlement faster. For instance, you don't have to prove fault. That maybe if you didn't have a driving license, so you shouldn't be compensated. That one we have put it aside. We used not to cover drivers. We used not to cover the conductors, but those ones now are part of
inclusive.
They are all inclusive. So there are so many things that we are going to share with the public in due course about the Motor Third Party Bill. But otherwise, the future is very bright for the industry. We have the National Health Insurance Bill coming up, and we are also going to participate in this National Health Insurance Bill. And once it's enacted, we are key stakeholders in it, and we expect to provide medical insurance to the public. There is also marine insurance, which has been made compulsory with effect from, we are going to announce the date. Yes,
you could announce
it has been made compulsory. You don't have to take insurance in China if you are importing goods from China. You have to take insurance from Uganda, so that the premium is generated by insurance companies here in Uganda. And we already at very high level talks with the URA, and we are operationalizing, we are working on the mechanisms to sort out this problem. Of course, the bigger projects are still there. Road construction is still going on, and the insurance always participates. We have the Uganda Airlines, the Bombardiers, they are coming in. Insurance has been participating. So, save for COVID, which we are managing, the future is very, very bright for the sector.
Well, wow. Well, Paul Kavuma, your final say.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mabel, again, and viewers. Yeah, the pandemic has exposed everybody, and we're trying our best to try and roll out what we think will help the street vending economy, like we want to call it, the microeconomy, in terms of survival. We've done things with, ours is really an advocacy sort of role. We've got into a partnership with Enterprise Uganda, Mr. Charles Otiti. We did an MOU with them yesterday. That is going to help educate and try and promote SMEs. SMEs are known to survive within a year. You know, to sustain an SME past a year is quite a huge achievement. So, but usually it is the business risks that are more often happening. And if we have the solutions, then we shall do so. We are re-engineering our compulsory products. I mean, like he said, with the reform in the motor third party, certainly you're going to see quite a bit of change. We've now rolled out a survey on workers' compensation, which is also another mandatory cover for every employee to have by the employer. You know, once you're injured on duty, then, you know. So we're also trying to see that the benefits there are enhanced. What everybody wants to know is what insurance are doing in terms of responding to COVID. And I think the regulator has laid the line very well in terms of trying to send out a message of hope. The uncertainty was certainly a lot, but even as the players, we are working behind the scenes with our insurers to try and see that we have that the products that, you know, try and mitigate these risks. I can tell you, none of us could have probably foreseen the magnitude of this lockdown and all that, yeah. But now we have the mechanism to see that, you know, it happens. Because if we sorted out the locusts, you know, using our agriculture insurance, then we might as well, you know, have foreseen this.
And any other occurrences.
Yeah. So appropriate insurance solutions should be in place, and I would encourage anybody to uptake agriculture insurance, both small scale and large scale. It has full government support on a premium subsidy, and with insurance, then you have access to credit to improve on your agriculture model from subsistence to semi-commercial, and then probably to full commercial. Okay. So all those innovations are there that we are trying to roll out into the market.
All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Paul Kavuma, CEO of Uganda Insurers Association, and of course, thank you, Mr. Obel Bernard, that is Director, Supervision Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. We've had a very interesting conversation on motor third-party mobile payment, and of course it's very easy now to pay for your mobile money, and this is a solution to the many fraudsters that have been on the black market as far as buying motor third-party insurance is concerned, and it's very easy. Just get to your phone, *165, select option 4, which is for payments, and then of course you follow the prompts, you get a sticker, you go to an insurance agent, and you're good to go. Thank you so much. My name is Mabel Twegumiezake.